I know we had a committee hearing on this, and I believe there was an amendment to the same ordinance during the time Mayor Parker's been here, because I remember asking her the question about whether our regulations require actual numbers of street addresses, and I believe she said that there is a requirement, and I guess this doesn't change that, even though it doesn't seem to be followed. I know that, when I get a Google map of where I'm going somewhere, I get the address and not the name of the building, and sometimes it's hard to match up the two, at least it is for me. And the second thing I just wonder is whether this proposal will change the restrictions for Stonehenge, which is in the 12,800 block of Briar Forest. The last time the ordinance was amended, we had a meeting out there. Ms. Galbraith was involved, and other people in the planning department was involved. We had a local meeting out there to resolve the issues between what they were doing and what the fire department seemed to want them to do. I think it's been resolved, and I just hope that passing this ordinance doesn't change that, and we have to redo that. I think it was done to the satisfaction of everybody at the time.
Can I research that and get back with you on that?
Sure.
And Councilmember, my understanding too is that Stonehenge is what it is, and we're not planning on changing, this does not cause the changing of any street names going.
Yeah. What about the numbering, actual numbering of buildings?
We did take your comment at the time of the council committee meeting. I just didn't bring it up today, but we did revise a portion of the ordinance to clarify that, and Mary could answer that a little better.
We added some definitions and took some definitions away so that we consolidated what the components are of an address. And so if you've got different buildings that are on the same site, each one of those has to be numbered in accordance with the requirements of the ordinance. So we did try to make that as clear as possible that that's a requirement. And another thing that we did was we put a reference in the ordinance back to an existing requirement in, I believe, Chapter 10 of the code that requires those to be posted prominently on the building.
That'd be great, because right now, if you're driving down Westheimer, you go into the XYZ building in the 10,000 block, all you'll see is XYZ building, and very often at least, all you see is XYZ building, and there won't be an address for it. Thank you.
Councilmember Davis?
Thank you. And forgive me, I missed the committee meeting on this. Quick question on your page 4, you have proposed fees for the renaming street, name application fee of $1,000. Is that currently a fee now?
No.
Okay, so if we had a request and we were asking about a street being changed prior to this, are they subject to this $1,000?
No.
Okay.
You're talking about a previously named street that gets renamed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is designed to cover the expense of the renaming.
Okay, well, my question was that if someone's in the process of putting in a name change to the street now, will they be subject to the $1,000 fee?
Depends on where they are in the process.
Yeah, an application that's been filed will not trigger the $1,000 fee until after the ordinance has been passed. So applications after the date of the adoption of the ordinance, then those applications will require a $1,000 fee.
And could I, and again, I apologize, I missed the committee meeting. Could I get how we came up with this $1,000 fee based on
Sure.
our cost?
We can detail that out.
Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Gallegos?
Thank you. I too didn't make the committee meeting, so I just want to have some questions here. In regards to, how is it being addressed in regards to the downtown streets? I know that there are several downtown streets on the corners that do not have street signs. Are y'all going to be addressing that in regards to making sure you put street signs on those corners?
No, we're not actively doing that. We're just dealing with the street name, new street names, and new address and numbers.
I know I've gotten several complaints from individuals.
Councilmember, wrong target. If you'll give me the addresses that where they're not street signs at, we need to send that to Public Works and have them corrected. This is a planning department function here.
So then my next question, and you were able to address this one. In regards to addresses and private residences that don't have a visible address, is that something that you're addressing? in regards
As an
to,
enforcement issue?
yes.
Again, Councilmember, this is designed to clarify that every property in the city of Houston should have a visible number address. If it's an enforcement issue, again, give us the,
Public Works.
give us the
All
address.
right. Okay, now in regards to proper naming of streets and neighborhoods, for example, I know that I was president of my civic club, and we had an issue in regards to the naming of our streets in our neighborhood. In time, they were, for example, let's say it's Jefferson, it used to be just Jefferson, for example. I mean, I don't know if this is correct, I'll have to do the research, but I'm just using it as an example. It was Jefferson, and now it says Jefferson Street. And we have a Easton historian that lives in my neighborhood, and that has been a pet peeve of hers for years, is that she's wanting to get these names corrected on the streets. So is that something that you're addressing as well with this, or?
The street ending, the ending of the street,
Yes.
the street part. We are moving forward with new street names. We are requiring those to have an ending, an avenue, lane, street, whatever. But again, we're going back to enforcing or changing anything previously done.
But I mean, if this historian chooses to proceed with this, which she is, the neighborhood's not gonna be responsible for $1,000 for each street, that you have to take street off or avenue, add avenue to it, or whatever the case might be, correct?
Councilmember, again, wrong target. If we are going back and requiring the designation, either street, avenue, or boulevard, it would be the city's responsibility to make those changes and bear that expense. The cost in here is for, we routinely get requests to name a street after a person, and that's what it's gonna be applied to. If it's generated by the city, no, we're not gonna assess the people that live on that street.
We wouldn't consider what you're talking about a street name, renaming. Again, it would just go to Public Works and Engineering.
Right, thank you.
Councilmember Story.
So if I'm correct, so like the chatter in Spring Branch for years, and Helen Moody Days was a change Long Point to Spring Branch Boulevard. That would be going through this process.
Correct.
And then, my second question was the Houston Association of Realtors. I saw GHBA included. Has how the realtors been included in this process? As to the impact on the end result? I see when the development occurs, but it's always nice to know that on the end result.
We did not.
I think you said you met with the
Houston Real Estate Council.
That's more developers than we would.
Yeah, that's,
So if we could maybe please consider that.
okay.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wynn.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just curious. There are some streets in the southwest area, mainly in District J, Councilmember Laster's district. There's all the streets that has additional signs with Chinese names. This is not a name change. This is just additional signs. I think this is the work of either the management district or the community that wanting to have the streets named in their own language. Are they subjected to these fees also?
No, no.
Thank you.
Councilmember Bradley.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Kramer, the renaming of existing streets, the application fee is a new fee for $1,000, correct?
Correct.
Is that $1,000 for the application itself, or does it include the actual cost for the sign change?
It is for the processing of the application and also going out and changing the street signs with new blades.
How are we able to determine $1,000 if we don't know how many street signs may be involved? As an example, we may want to change a street that has, 35 signs that need to be changed versus a street that only has 2 signs that need to be changed.
We just looked at an average of those applications.
And if the cost is more than $1,000, which it may be, the city will just incur that.
We incur that with a application that has a smaller number of streets.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, because I think to the extent that the communities can get together, and it happens from time to time where, you know, they want to rename a street after some notable figure, et cetera. And I think a $1,000 fee to do that is kind of a nominal fee to get that done, so I appreciate you moving forward. Thank you, ma'am.
Councilmember Stark?
I appreciate my colleagues' comments, but I would like the analysis to understand how the fee was derived, so that going forward, that we have best practices in all new fees. If we can avoid any fees, we would like to avoid the fees. But if there's a cost of the service, then it has to be justified. So if we could have that, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I prefer a scaled fee that is the actual cost of providing the service. If there are no other questions or comments from council members, ask y'all to step back, please. Any members of the public who came today to address us on this particular issue? No one signed up in advance. I will take a motion to close the public hearing. Moving to vote, favoring, opposed, motion carries.